Now we're going live to Carolina Cruz, who is live at Hartford Hospital, and I understand she's with some doctors as we continue our team coverage. Carolina?
That are dealing with these patients. So in total, we know that there are 6 patients here at Hartford Hospital. 3 of them were seriously hurt. Another 3 not hurt as badly, but they're still being treated. And we know that 2 patients right now are being transported to the burn unit in Bridgeport for more specialized care. So I am joined here with Dr. Robinson and Dr. Gates. Dr. Robinson, you are the chief of the emergency medicine department. Dr. Gates, you are the chief of trauma surgery here at Hartford Hospital. Can you walk us through, the moment that you hear there's been a plane crash? You kind of mentioned about that earlier. Walk us through your thought process.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to recognize the efforts of everyone on scene first, the authorities at the airport and EMS and fire and police on scene did an awesome job of transporting the patients to us in a very timely manner and getting that done really well and seamlessly. So a recognition and a thank you to all of them. When we hear something like this, we try to determine how many patients, because we all want to know, like, what does this mean? What types of resources do we need? And when it's unclear, but we hear a plane has crashed, we think the worst, and we activate our largest plan possible, which is our mass casualty plan. And then we started making calls and texts and assembling the team, basically.
And you guys said that you cleared ORs, discharged whoever you could discharge to make sure that you had all of the resources at hand to make sure that you could treat these patients. And you also were mentioning, you contacted blood banks. And tell us about, everybody that was involved, about 100 people?
Oh, easily. And that's probably just in the emergency department at the time. But when you think about the ICU nurses and ICU staff, so they're ready and prepared to take patients if they had to go directly from the emergency department to the ICU. The OR staff was on hold for elective cases. And then when we had a better sense of how many patients we had and if any of them needed operations, then we were able to hold those ORs for a certain amount of time and then release them back into general circulation so the OR list could resume. And we did that again at Hartford Hospital, but Bone and Joint, which is part of Hartford Hospital, as well as CCMC, the Children's Hospital, was prepared to help out as well. So we were really very well resourced and very well ready to take good care of the patients.
The other folks that help us a lot are social work and the chaplains, as well as public safety or security and the local police. We expect a lot of people coming in to, look after their loved ones or find out what's happening, and we need to have things in place for the families and the visitors, and they do a great job as well.
And I know that a lot of people at home are probably wondering about any casualties. So we know that the AP was reporting earlier that there are 2 fatalities from this crash, but as far as officials from the state, they say they aren't confirming any fatalities right now, just for the sake of the families. And so the same kind of goes here, as well as for HIPAA regulations. But whenever you hear of a certain accident, you can kind of gauge a little bit of the injuries that you're going to be dealing with. But when you're talking about a plane crash from high in the sky, what are you expecting?
Well, these are potentially high energy impact, as you can imagine, and it can run the gamut from anything minor to anything life-threatening. And those injuries can be head injuries to orthopedic injuries to internal chest and abdominal injuries. So it really is anything. And I think our teams are in the mindset that we're looking for anything possible that could be injured. We're going to identify it, we're going to treat it, and prioritize it according to what is the life-threatening problem first.
Anything else you think the public should know at this moment as far as Hartford Hospital's response? I know you guys trained for this, so you said you had more than enough time to make sure that your team was assembled.
That's correct.
We did. And Ken is very much involved in the drilling and training that goes into treating and preparing for something like this. But the reality is, too, we have, thousands of patients that are admitted to the hospital with trauma mechanisms, and we, in some ways, do this every single day, multiple times a day. We just do it on a larger scale in an event like this.
And as Dr. Gates said, there was probably 60 to 100 staff extra staff in the emergency department, and to the outside observer, it would have looked like chaos. But there were 7 different teams, all getting prepared for different rooms, lining up for the patients, and it was really quite organized. And when we would get a report from CMed on the radio, the whole place was quiet listening to the report, so everyone knew what to expect.
Mm-hmm. And we know that at least 2 of those victims had burns. Can you talk to us about the other departments within the hospital that responded to this as well?
Sure. And, we have orthopedics and neurosurgery and the ICU, as I mentioned, and acute care surgery is part of trauma surgery. So all of those facets are involved. Anesthesia as well would be involved if we were to take the patients to the operating room. And if we needed reconstructions of certain things, plastic surgeons are involved, and it is, a very, very deep bench, I like to say.
But also general medicine and general surgery, because we might have needed extra beds upstairs, and so they needed to identify patients sooner rather than later who could safely be discharged in case we needed space upstairs. Because today we're actually really, really full.
Oh, really?
It's a very busy day at our hospital, yes.
Okay. So you guys were treating about 700 patients already? Is that what I heard earlier?
When this happened this morning, we had 50 patients in our department waiting for beds upstairs.
Okay, so you never know what to expect, I'm sure, when dealing with these sorts of things. So there is a number, though, for family members of these patients that are being treated here at the hospital, or if you want to check in any families, you can call 860-972-9166. If you want to come down to the hospital, you can come to Hartford Hospital Cancer Center and go to the Taylor Conference Room. They will be able to help you out there and let you know the status of your loved one. Anything else you want to add, doctors?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.